It was a rainy Thursday afternoon in a small town in Ohio. The diner's neon sign flickered outside, painting the wet streets with hues of red and blue. Inside, the scent of frying bacon mixed with the faint aroma of brewed coffee, and the clatter of dishes echoed as a few patrons tried to stay warm from the storm. Samantha Walker, a young woman in her mid-20s, maneuvered her wheelchair carefully toward a booth near the corner. Her disability made some tasks simple and others frustratingly difficult, but she had learned to face the world with determination. Today, however, she sensed a heaviness in the air, a tension she couldn't quite shake. A group of 3 young men, clearly intoxicated and brimming with bravado, sat a few tables away. They whispered and laughed loudly, their eyes wandering with mischief until they landed on Samantha. One of them, a tall guy with a cruel smirk, muttered something to his friends. Before anyone could stop it, he reached across the aisle and slapped Samantha across the cheek. The diner fell silent. Samantha's eyes welled up, not out of fear, but from the shock of being attacked in such a public, unprovoked way. "What is wrong with you?" she asked, her voice steady despite the sting. The men laughed, cruel and high-pitched, enjoying the fear they thought they had instilled. They jeered at her, mocking her wheelchair and her inability to respond physically. Patrons murmured but stayed in their booths, too intimidated to intervene. Samantha's lunch tray shook in her lap, and tears blurred her vision as she took a deep breath, reminding herself that she deserved dignity, not pity. She could feel anger rising, not the desperate kind that demands retaliation, but a fierce, simmering courage. Samantha locked eyes with the tallest of the 3 men. "You think this makes you strong?" she said. "It makes you weak, and I hope someday you realize that." The men jeered one last time and walked out, leaving Samantha shaken but resolute. She stayed in the diner, sipping her coffee and letting the warmth settle into her arms. The rain tapped gently against the window, almost as if comforting her. An hour passed, the atmosphere slowly returning to normal. That's when the rumble of motorcycles echoed through the parking lot. One by one, a group of leather-clad bikers entered the diner, the sound of their boots and the smell of gasoline mixing with the diner's familiar scent. At first, the patrons looked uneasy, expecting trouble. But then the leader of the group, a broad-shouldered man in his late 30s with a kind yet commanding presence, approached Samantha's booth. He knelt slightly so she could see his face. "You okay, ma'am?" he asked gently. Samantha nodded, surprised and grateful. "Yes, thank you," she said softly, unsure why this group of strangers had stopped in a small diner in the middle of a rainy day. The leader turned toward the diner's entrance, and the rest of the group followed, scanning the room. "Some guys come through here causing trouble?" he asked the waitress. When she nodded, explaining what had happened, his eyes narrowed, but there was no anger toward Samantha. Instead, there was a palpable sense of justice and protection radiating from him. The bikers waited near the door, and when the 3 men returned, laughing like nothing had happened, they were met with the unyielding presence of the motorcycle gang. The tallest man's confident smirk faltered when he saw the leader lock eyes with him. "Think you're funny, huh?" The leader's voice was low but firm, hitting someone who can't defend herself. "That's not strength. That's pathetic." The bikers didn't need to raise their fists. Their silent, intimidating presence spoke louder than words. The 3 men muttered excuses and attempted to leave, but the message was clear. This town did not tolerate cruelty. After the men finally departed, the leader returned to Samantha's booth. "You know," he said, "sometimes the world doesn't give us the heroes we expect. But sometimes people show up when it counts. You've got more strength than most give you credit for." Samantha felt a lump in her throat. The fear and humiliation she had endured just an hour ago were replaced by an overwhelming sense of gratitude. These strangers, these bikers who looked rough and dangerous, had reminded her that courage comes in many forms, and kindness often arrives from the most unexpected places. By the time the rain stopped and the bikers left, Samantha realized that the world wasn't always cruel. Sometimes, it was just waiting for someone brave enough to stand up, or for someone unexpected to show that bravery isn't limited by age, appearance, or past mistakes. That day, Samantha wheeled out of the diner with her head held high, carrying more than her coffee and lunch. She carried hope, the knowledge that even in the darkest moments, courage, protection, and human kindness could arrive like thunder, rolling in to remind the world that justice and empathy still existed. She didn't know the bikers' names, and they didn't ask hers, but their presence, their action, would stay with her forever. A testament to the truth that heroes often come in the most surprising forms, and that even when life knocks you down, someone will always be there to lift you back up.